Greetings. Welcome to the Yang Style Long Form course. I'm Michael Gilman. Today we continue on in our exploration of the basic movements of Tai Chi. We're going to review commencement and ward off left, and we're going to add in ward off right, or as called for in the form, right push upward, which is basically Pong energy. Ward off is Pong energy. So we'll explore that, and we'll review the movements that we've covered so far. All right, so let's start with a gentle warm-up. Turning the waist. Making sure the feet are shoulder width. Relaxing. The torso turning. Gentle and easy, very gentle and easy. You can work up to more vigorous, of course, but start out nice and easy. Always keep your knees unlocked, nice and soft. Then rolling down and rolling up. Good. Shake shoulders. Shake the arm. Loosen free. The energy is going to run nice and free if the muscles are relaxed. Joints open. Loosen free, relaxing. Throw the arm away, opening up the shoulder joint. Good. Other arm. Loose and free. You really want to put your intention inside your body. Pay attention to what you're doing. Pay attention to what you're doing. You'll gain a lot more benefit. Throw the arm away. Now don't forget, everything comes from the center. Even if it looks like the foot is shaking, but it's coming from the center. My intention is to hook this up to the center. And shaking, feeling the thighs shake. This is coming from the hip joint, and then a little kick out, open up the hip joint, open up the sacroiliac joint. Very good. Shaking. In the beginning of the study of Tai Chi, everything goes very slowly. We take, it might not seem like it to you at the moment in a way, but we're going slowly, learning the basic foundations, and then towards the end, we pick up and learn more movements each week. Okay, shoulder width, turn the waist. Rolling down and up. Okay, integrating, feet shoulder width, knees soft, pelvis slightly tucked under, top of the head lifting, chin slightly tucked under, shoulders and upper ribs suspended from above, breathing in and out through the nose, directing the breath to the lower belly. Take an integration breath. Inviting the yang qi down through the body. Allow it to just smooth down to the lower belly, the lower dantian. Then push the excess, anything you don't need, right down through the legs and out. All right, very good. Now, we've worked on loosening the joints of the lower body. We've loosened the joints of the upper body. And now we're going to work on the neck. Now, it's very important to keep flexible in the neck. As sort of one of the early signs of aging is like a stiff neck, when you're walking around like this. Nothing makes somebody look older, or if the neck collapses, really very bad for posture and for general health. So we want to keep the neck open. Now, it's very important when you're doing neck exercises to keep the image of opening always. Anything that you do, you want to think about space and room. Okay? Many people say one shouldn't roll the neck. Well, I think that if you shouldn't roll it, it wouldn't have been made that way. So just don't scrunch it down. When you roll, think about expanding and lengthening, and it'll be fine. Okay? So the first action is what we call horizontal. So keep yourself nice and open. We're just gently going to turn and look and pivot around a horizontal plane. You want to gently and easily look behind you. You should be able to easily see 360 degrees. Pick out an object and you should be able to see it. Now, try not to move your whole body when you do this. Just your neck, gentle and easy stretching. Horizontal. Good. Then vertical, up and down, pivoting on a center point, right sort of where your ears are. Up and down. Even when you're going back, don't scrunch down, but lengthen up and back. Lengthen. Good. Then what we call front to back. We slide the head forward and pull back. Sliding forward. This is very good for the skull and all the muscles that connect. This is sometimes called the tortoise in yoga. It's very good for the thyroid. So forward and back, forward and back. Good. Then what we call chin up. We're going to pivot from the very center of the skull. Pivot the chin up. This is very good for the muscles that hold the skull in place here. Gently, easily, just pivot right at the center. I call it chin up. Okay, and then taking it a little bit further, we'll go ear to shoulder. So the whole neck is moving as opposed to the skull. The first one was for the skull. This is just gentle and easy stretching up and out, up and out. Good. Next is a really good movement. And what we're going to do for this is we're going to inhale. We're going to look up over the shoulder to the heel and back. While you're doing that, you're going to concentrate on the opposite side lung filling. This is very good to open this lung up as well as the neck. And coming back, exhaling. So you're going to inhale. Now, you don't want to move the whole body, just the neck. Now, a lot of people, you won't be able to see behind you because of lack of flexibility. So however far you go. But the idea is to come up and out and over and look at your heel behind you and concentrate on feeling the opposite lung and coming back. So inhale, up and over. Exhale, coming back. Inhale, up and over. Exhale, back. Good. And finally, neck circles. Start small, doesn't matter which direction, but think about lengthening. And really, if you think about coming from your center, that this whole spine is involved, it will help. And then working to big circles, smooth circles. Lengthen, loosen, and relax. Don't tighten up, don't crunch down, lengthen. And then the opposite direction. Nice, smooth, easy movements. Good. And finally, in this series, what we're going to loosen the temporal mandibular joint muscles, jaw muscles that tend to get tight. So we do what's called shake the jaw. So using a sort of shaking motion like a dog would when it gets out of water, it helps it to loosen this joint. It's very hard to loosen this joint, you can imagine. You can't do it moving the jaw itself. You have to use something else, and then it can work. Okay, very good. Shougung, smooth the energy. Okay, so let's review the bow and sit stance, shall we? And we're going to get introduced to a new stance, what's called the turning bow and sit. Last week we just did the straight bow and sit, and this we will do the turning bow and sit. So, feet shoulder width, sinking down, shift to the, this is my left foot, open, shift to the right foot, roll up, sink the weight into the weighted foot, step straight ahead. Remember, the tendency is to narrow the stance. Don't narrow the stance. Step straight out of the hip. Nice and easy. Don't move the body. Step as far as you can. Put the foot down. Shift the weight forward. Knee covers the toe. Knee goes in the direction of the toe. Shoulders and hips face in the direction you're headed. Back relaxed. And my mic just fell off, so if you excuse me while I'm doing this. I'm not. Yeah, good. Okay, so this is left foot bow stance, right foot sit stance. Left foot bow stance, right foot sit stance. Now you want to feel the muscles working here. Feel, don't raise, don't go up and down. No, stay on the same plane, using your quads, the hip joints. Gather the energy and give it out. Inhale. Exhale, inhale, exhale. You can use, if you want, you can use hand motions, simple things like gather and out. Say in and out. If this helps, that's good. Or sometimes what we do is push down and pull up. This kind of a feeling of push and pull, using the hands to help us, or you can just relax like so. Okay, we do this 10 times. Then back, shift the weight, bring up the foot, bring it back. Usually in the beginning you might feel a little tension when you do this, so you can stop, kick out. Okay, then other side, shoulder width, sink, shift right, open left, shift left, step, shift, move ahead, inhale, exhale. Actually, the breathing doesn't matter. I happen to generally breathe like that, but not always. But you do want to be rhythmically breathing, inhaling and exhaling. Relaxing, keeping the structure straight. Don't bend in any direction. Certainly don't lean back. Right? When you're sitting, there's even a slight feeling of bending forward just a little bit, not bending, but folding at the hip joint. But you don't need to even do that. But you do want to feel the energy in this hip joint. Make sure the knees go in the direction of the toe. That's the ultimate most important, that the knees go in the direction of the toe. Okay. Back. Up, shake out. Now what we're going to add in is the turning bow and sit stance, which we have already done in ward off left. When we did ward off left, we opened, we stepped, and then we turned as we moved. So this is going to be the practice of turning and moving at the same time. This is what I call straight bow and sit. And now we're going to add a turning movement. So let's start this from the beginning. Down, shift, open, shift. Now, when you're stepping, in any case, as you're moving onto this foot, your belly and center are facing the direction your knee is headed. You step ahead, so my torso has not released yet. The tendency is, here is, when people step, is to turn the torso already. No, don't do that. When you step, step without turning the torso. Now, as you shift, turn the torso. So this is the practice of turning. Nose points to the knee, nose points to the knee. You want to separate the thoracic area from the pelvic area. You want to make sure that you're lifting the ribs, the spine is lengthening, and the pelvis is sinking. Do not let the front knee, is going to have a tendency to pull around and out of alignment and then come back in. No, keep the lower body moving straight as you turn. Keep the back straight, don't lean. Again, gather into your qua. And again, I would use sort of an inhale, inhaling, coming back, gathering, exhaling, moving forward, generally speaking. So this is turning bow and sit. Most movements tend to have turning bow and sit with them. Very few have straight, but more have turning. Because I'm creating torque. Here I've got torque in my waist, and as I move forward, the torque is released, and thereby the action becomes stronger. Okay, shift back. Okay, other side, I'll do it from the back. Lower, shift, open, shift. Remember, you're heading, here now I'm heading towards the corner, stepping straight ahead or even just slightly to the right, put the foot down. Now, as you shift, turn. And as you come back, turn. Smooth and easy. Gathering into the qua, releasing from the hip. When you're back, you gather the energy into the inside of the foot. When you release from the outside of the foot. When you receive the energy, you receive it to the inside of the foot. When you release the energy, you release it from the outside or heel. Same thing with the forward foot, too. When I'm moving forward, my energy moves into the inside of the foot. And when I push myself back, it releases from the heel or from the outside of the foot. So in the beginning, it's a lot to think about. Just think about one foot at a time. Gather to the inside of the foot, release from the outside. Coordinate. Don't turn and move, or move and turn. See? Turn and move at the same time. Turn and move at the same time. Bow, turning, bow and sit stance. Okay, coming back. Lift up, bring the foot back, center up, stand up, and relax. Shake out. Okay, so that is turning bow and sit stance practice. So I highly recommend practicing those as often as you can, wherever you can. The more that you pay attention to this, the stronger you'll be, the sooner your chi and energy will be clear and smooth. So do practice this often. All right, so let's review. I'll review first from the front, the first two movements, and then from the back, and then we will add in. Starting with Wu Chi stance. Feet are sinking. The spirit of vitality, or what we call shun or shen, is rising. You have this feeling that there's sort of this overall awareness that's hovering around you, kind of like up in here someplace. Your sort of spiritual energy is hovering, and your physical energy is sinking, right? So you want to separate yin and yang. Okay, starting with an inhale, commencement of Tai Chi Chuan. Inhale. And exhaling. Ward off left. Open. Lead. Step. Palm. Wrist rise, shoulders sink, elbows sink, palms fill, palms push down, energy drops. When energy gets to the lower belly, it divides, some down, some up. Raise your spirit of vitality. Relax the arms. Shifting and opening, the hand is gently raised, joining with the incoming energy. Leading, turning as you shift the weight onto and sink into the right foot, the inside of the right foot. The palm turns over. Roll up. Step straight ahead. Don't narrow the stance. As soon as your heel is planted, you can shift the weight forward and turn the waist. Palm comes up. Okay? This is turning bow and sit stance. Turning bow and sit with the hand coming up. The other hand is sinking. The hand is not moving and then the body. The body is not moving and then the hand. The hand and body move together. The energy is rising and flowing upward. Rising and flowing upward. There's a tendency to lift the shoulder, lift the elbow. No. Sink the elbow, sink the shoulder. Eyes lead the movement. Eyes lead the movement. Yi, or intention, or the mind, leads the movement. My mind is here, preceding the arm. My mind is not pushing. No. If you push, what can happen is anything can happen. It is like, we think of this as like a river. If you were to try to push a river, it would just disperse and go wherever it wanted. But if you carve the channel for the river, it will follow where you want to go. Same thing here. With my mind, the energy is following it. Pong, ward off left. The other hand is balancing backward so that I don't extend too far forward. This is what we call Dui La, balancing the energy. The right hand is pushing down energy. You see, pushing down. If you remember in the application, I had grabbed a hold of somebody and I'm leading them down. This hand is holding on to the opponent as this hand comes up. So there's a pressure, this sort of a pulling apart at the same time. This hand is what we call the tiger mouth, or a nice open hand because it's grabbing, and this hand is a ponging hand. It's sort of a relaxed, natural hand. Ward off. Okay, from the back. Standing nice and upright, raise your spirit of vitality. Commencement of Tai Chi Chuan. Inhale. Then gather to the spine. The energy moves into the spine, drops down, actually right in front of the spine, drops down to the lower belly, and then it splits up and down. Open. Now this, the hand swings up as you open, sink your weight into the inside of the left foot. Then lead. You're pressing, the energy is as you're shifting the weight onto the right foot, you're pressing from the outside of the left into the inside of the right foot. Roll up, step ahead, and pong. Pong. Right push up. Okay. Now I think it's be important to talk about what we call center position, because this position is very important in Tai Chi. It's important in all the martial arts, and what's what I call center position. Now, most people are familiar with sort of boxing, and in boxing, if you've seen anybody who's any good, the weight is on the back foot. Their strong side generally is in the rear, is in the back. The front toe is loose and free, so it can move. They can step in any direction. Yeah. The front hand is ready to block or knock things out of the way. Back hand takes care of things back here. But the power of this whole torque and body comes from the back. You virtually never see a knockout jab. Anybody get knocked out with a front punch, with a jab. It all happens with this torquing power from the back. So the back, all that power is sort of held in reserve. And the side of the body is facing to where the opponent would be. So you offer this way, if I'm straight on to the opponent, all my vulnerable things are facing. So we face to the side, thereby the opponent cannot get in to attack us very easily. We would hold this sort of a stance like so. All right? And the toe touches down. Okay, this is what I call center position. Now, if for some reason my opponent were to circle and I needed to change my relation to that person, then if I had to have my right foot forward, the right hand would be down, the left hand would be back. It would be, I still wouldn't want to keep, I wouldn't want to do this. This is very awkward. So you'll see in Tai Chi, and you'll see it as we move into right push upward, this center position is going to change from side to side. But it's very important, as you'll see, and you'll see it as you learn these movements in basically every kind of movement, all right? So do look for it. Now watch, you'll see it here. And I'll demonstrate for you right push upward, what we're going to do, the movement we're going to do today, and you'll see it there too. So commencement. Here, see? Center position. Then we step in and make a pong. Now, I'm going to do basically pong to my right side. So, I sink, which puts me into the center position facing this new direction. You see, the weight is on my left foot, my right toe is touching down, and I'm in this nice, easy center position. Then I'm going to step in towards that and pong upward in this new direction. You see? So, here, see? Relaxing, step out, and pong upward. Now, I'm going to call on my assistant, if I would, to come help me to demonstrate the application for this. So if I can get Bijou free up off the camera, she's going to come help me. So while she's getting herself together, let me demonstrate these movements once again. Now, I'm going to change, go to right angle, go to my right, sink, step, and pong upward. Okay, so Bijou, can you come on in? Greetings. Greetings, greetings. Okay, let me just show you again the application, just remind you of the application for the first movement, the first ward off. So in this case, in the form, we call this north, and this is the direction that we're working on. But just so you can see it clearly, I'll put Bijou right over here. So in the first movement, she's coming in with this side, right? This whole side. She's kind of pushing in or something. So I'm getting out of the way and neutralizing. See? And see, whoa! And as she starts to come back, step in and throw her away. So in Tai Chi, you always just follow the opponent's energy. When the opponent comes in, I lead, Now, she's trying to recover. As she tries to recover, I follow her up, and push her. Okay, so that was a ward off. Now, let's say this was the beginning direction, and I just did ward off. Now, in this case, my opponent is to my right side. So this time, the opponent is going to kick in to me. I'm nice and open in this area, so the opponent's going to kick. Now, what most people want to do is, and the natural thing is to kind of protect yourself, and what would happen is I'd create a lot of tension in my body, and her force of her kick would just come right into me and hurt. So, we should relax. But in Tai Chi, what we always do is when she kicks, you see, you step inside. Now, I've broken the force of it. Even if it hit me, it wouldn't hurt because I'm inside. And now you see I've caught her leg, and I could just throw her out of the picture. So in this movement, I'm going to catch with my right hand. So as she steps in, I grab with my hand, and then I just throw her right on out. Okay? So that's basically it. And that's it. Okay, so thank you. Thank you very much. See, that was very, very, very easy. Right? That wasn't too bad at all. So now thinking about what Bijou was doing, now remember, I'll do this from the front first. Remember, she punched in, we neutralized, and joined, got out of the way, let it, grabbed and pulled a little bit. As she tried to escape, I knocked her away. Next, she came to kick into my inside, so I relax. Here's my center position. Step in, grab her, and pong. This other hand, see, this is mostly doing it. This other hand's here to help or to guard or whatever. Whereas in the first pong, this hand came down to balance. In this case, this is coming up to support the energy. Okay, so here's, let me demonstrate this once again, then we'll go through it. Break it up. Okay, that's it. Open, lead, pull, step in, and pong. Okay, so here she is. I first come into my center. I see, there's somebody over there, so I kind of get myself in the center ready. She kicks. I step in and grab, and pong upward, ending up facing in the new direction. Okay, now the thing that's important about this movement and these foot movements is this is the first time we've changed direction, and it's going to be almost every movement now we're going to be changing directions, or pretty much. So we have to make adjustments. Now, when we talked about the beginning stance, what we did was we shifted, opened to a 45, shifted, rolled up, stepped straight ahead. Now this relationship of the back foot at about a 45-degree angle to the direction I'm going is the most natural and correct. If it was parallel, we talked about this, it would be unbalanced, right angle, it's almost impossible to come straight back, a lot of problems. So this 45 in there someplace, it can be a little more, a little less, but somewhere around 45. Okay, so every time if I change my direction, I'm going to have to make an adjustment. For instance, say I'm just here, and somehow I needed to go more over to left. So I go over here, Now you can see if I'm trying to go in this direction how uncomfortable it is. So what I would do is what we call pivot in the toe. You just pivot the toe a little bit so it assumes this new relationship, and now I can go. Today, what we're going to do is, I've just done ward off, I'm going over at a right angle to my original stance. We're here, we step in, we pong. Now you see, if I don't do anything, my hip is under stress. I could do this, but it doesn't feel comfortable to me. So, at the end of the movement, what we're going to do is pivot in the toe. Now it's at a proper relationship. This is what's called turning in the toe. And now, remember I just said, you gather to the inside of the foot and release from the heel or outside. So, as I'm doing this pressure, as the pressure is going out, as I'm doing this movement, I'm pressuring from the outside, and then I continue pressuring, and while I'm still releasing from the heel, but I can free up the toe. You could assume the same relationship by turning out the heel. There's a couple problems with that. Some people do it that way. For me, it doesn't work right. A, because I'm releasing from the toe, which is not as good a route. And two, is my stance is now longer. See, here's the proper relation, proper bow and sit stance. Now, if I turn out the heel, now you see how long my stance has gotten? It's gotten much longer, too long. So you want to practice this. You want to practice this, and here's how to practice this. Okay, we'll just look at the foot movements. Lower, open, shift, step ahead, shift. So we turned out to 45. We don't have to make any adjustment. We're fine. Now, sink the weight and kind of pull in the toe a little bit. Turn your torso a bit towards the right. Step down towards your new direction. Not quite straight towards this wall, a little bit more to the right over here. And again, don't move the body. There's a tendency to want to lean back as you're stepping. No, sink. Shift the weight. Now, we're going to practice turning in the back toe. So, turn in the back toe. Turn out the back toe. Turn the waist. Now, when you start to feel tension, turn in the back toe. Turn out the back toe. Turn in. Now, don't turn in until all the weight is on the forward foot. If you turn it too soon, you're going to fall down here. You won't have any root whatsoever. When you step, wait until the weight is on here and you start to feel pressure in this hip, then release it by turning in. Turn out, turn in, turn out. This is very important to practice so that this hip turn in becomes natural. Okay? Turn in, turn out. This is the hardest, this is one of the hardest movements in the form. This transition right here. I don't know why it is, but it is. So if you feel uncomfortable, don't worry about it. It takes some time to learn, to find the comfort in this. So the stance again. Down, open. Shift, roll up. Sink. Step ahead, then shift and turn. Sink the weight onto the left foot, pull in and turn the torso. Don't let the left knee collapse. It's easy to do. Body's facing halfway towards the corner. Step down the heel where the toe was. Shift the weight, turn the waist, turn in the back toe. See, now I could do turning bow and sit or straight bow and sit. Yeah. Now, this might seem like, redundant to keep working on this, but this is really the key to this movement is the stance. The hands are really simple. The hands are really simple. They don't do much, but it's this foot movement that's a little tricky, so do take the time and practice it. Down, shift and open. Shift, roll up. Step ahead. Shift. Turn and roll up. Step, shift, and turn. Now here's one of the problem areas. Here's one of the problems that happens in this movement. So this is fine. This is no problem. Now what happens is, at this point, we haven't really committed onto the left foot. If you haven't really committed, you're kind of more or less center position. When you go to step, you can't lift this foot off the ground because you don't have all the weight committed firmly onto the left foot. So what happens is, you want to hurry this, or not even lift it, just turn it. What you want to feel is that it's like you're walking. It's like I'm going to take a right-hand turn. I'm going to step. I'm going to shift the weight onto here, then I'm going to turn and go over here. Shift, step, go over here. Just because it's Tai Chi, it seems like I'm not following through, but what's really happening here is this. Okay. Paw, I'm going over here. Oh, something else is happening here? Okay, I'm going to go over here. It's not clunk, clunk. It has this feeling of 1, 2. That when we do ward off left, we are firmly onto this foot. We can then put this foot wherever we want to. So when we do this, I'm firmly on. That's why we roll up the back toe. I'm firmly on here. I'm really here. I'm really here. I'm really here. But in order to just keep the toe on the ground, you're really there, you're really there. Now you can step and then shift. Down, open, shift. Now I'm really here, I'm really here, same thing here. If you do this movement, what a lot of people do is they come here. Now you're not really here. Now when you go to step, there's that kind of thing goes on, or that. But if you're really on this foot, you can go here. Now you'll notice many teachers teach what's called like a follow step. That makes sure that all the weight is on the foot. It's okay, and particularly if you have balance issues, I recommend doing it like that. But for a lot of good reasons, I don't do it that way. So try not to, but if you have to, that's fine. Okay, here's the less desirable way, but okay. Turn, open, shift. Now you're here, pull the toe in. Get your weight here, then step out and come forward. Pull the toe in. Step out, go. Okay? Now here's the way I recommend doing it. See, you're here. You roll up. You don't have to bring this foot in. You just roll it up, and from this point, step. Here, roll up. You can pull in a little bit. Roll up, then step out, and right push upward. Okay. So let's look at the hands. Okay. Let's look at the hands. Now, you should have a good sense of commencements, the wrist, elbow, palms, push down, relax, sink. Wrist rise, palm faces the left, open. This comes with the body, the other hand drifts over. Now, a lot of people call this holding the ball, but it's basically, I call it center position, right? As opposed to, if you do this, too much tension here, holding the ball. Step ahead, right hand is pulling down, left hand expanding upward and outward. Center of the chest. Right push upward. As you come into the center, as you sink, the hands come into center position. Now, what's going to happen is, what people want to do is leave this hand as you turn, you see? And now it's somewhere way behind me and it's not going to do me any good. What you want to do is bring it with you as the elbow collapses. See? Watch this elbow. See, palm. Elbow sinks, palm relaxes. The hands is pretty much at the same place, but the elbow sinks and moves into this relationship to the front arm. This hand, the right hand, relaxes and is in front of the lower body. Okay, as you step, nothing much happens. There's a little bit of pong starting, because remember, as I step in, I'm starting to catch the foot movement, but it's not too important yet. It's just pretty well relaxed. Now, as you shift, the right hand pongs upward. Now, you see, one of the greatest Tai Chi masters of all time was a man named Frankenstein. Now, when I was a kid, I used to watch Frankenstein. I was terribly scared, but until I realized he was a great Tai Chi master. You see, his arms would not move. He couldn't, Frankenstein never did anything like this. If he wanted to grab something, the torso makes the hands happen. And the same thing in Tai Chi. It maybe it's not quite that weird, but it's almost like that. Okay? Now what? You see? Here. Now I'm Frankenstein. As I step, now see this hand? It's not moving in relation to the body. Okay? It's the body's moving. It's in the same relationship. It's in the center. This hand's in the almost center of my body. It stays there, but pongs upward. It raises upward a bit, but the shoulder doesn't, it's not the shoulder moving. It's not the body moving and then the arm coming up. It's these two things moving together. Now you notice that if I do this facing this camera from here, pong, first center position. You've opened this leg up. If I don't open this up and turn my body, I'm out of whack, unbalanced. So you roll up and pivot. Now I can kick or walk or move in the new direction. You see, the hands come into center position. Step. As you shift, see, now watch just the left hand. The left hand just goes along with the body and opens. It's not doing anything. It's not moving in out or in. It's just palms opening. The left hand is coming upward to end up sort of in line with the upper right side of the body, palm facing inward. This right hand is going to end up, the left hand is going to end up by the right elbow in the center of the body. This hand is to protect here, and this hand is throwing away. The hands are basically what we call a natural hand. They're not big and expand, they're not tight fists. It's just a natural, relaxed hand. Try not to get the shoulders up. Keep the elbows sinking. You don't want them like this. You don't want this hand facing downward. This hand is facing into the hole in front of you. This hand is facing inward. It's relaxed. Right push upward. I'll do the whole thing this way. This will be fun. See a different angle. Commencement. Join, lead, control, return the energy. Relax into center. Energy returns to the center. Step out, energy expands upward. Next movement we're going to do next time is the energy is going to return back to the center. The energy is then going to come out from the center. The energy is going to return into the center. Energy is going to expand out from the center. We're always working on this pumping the energy in and out of the center. Okay. So follow along. Commencement of Tai Chi Chuan. Ward off left. Open join. Lead. You're facing the corner. Step straight ahead and pong upward. Ward off left. Come into your center. Commit the weight to your left foot. Step out and right push upward. Don't forget to turn in the back toe. And again. Commencement of Tai Chi Chuan. Sink in the energy. Energy sinks into the left foot. Energy sinks into the right foot. Keep the energy in the right foot as you step. Energy moves to the left foot. Sink the energy into the left foot as you come in. Keep the energy in the left foot as you step. Shift and bring the energy to the right foot. Don't lean here. Don't go too little or too late. Commencement of Tai Chi Chuan. Keep the shoulders relaxed, elbows relaxed, thumbs pushed down. Remember, feel the energy sink into the lower belly. When it gets to the lower belly, you split it. The heavier energies go down, the lighter energies come up. Now you're kind of feeling like you're rooted, but the top part is nice and open. Here comes the energy. You go to get out of the way, sinking and joining. Lead it. Stay on top. Don't get down. Stay on top of the energy. Yeah? Control it by now grabbing. Step in. Pong upward. Energy coming from the right hip to the waist and up. Comes from the ground to the hip. From the hip to the waist. From the waist to the spine and out. Gather the energy into the left foot. Step out. Energy comes from the leg to the hip. From the hip to the waist. From the waist to the arm. Now, in the beginning, you won't feel anything particularly, what we call energy. You just feel the physical body moving, and that's good. But what you want to do is, as we go on, we're going to feel some kind of feeling of, kind of a liquidy feeling in the body, all right? So think of yourself as a kind of a liquid. Okay, so once again, this sort of a flowing liquid. Now Tai Chi is likened to a river that never stops no matter what. Here it goes. It reaches something and it goes around it. Okay? It comes here. It reaches something over here and then it flows around it and moves over here. It reaches over here and it flows into a new eddy in a new direction. And it comes up and flows forward. Yeah. Okay, so very good. This is really, I think we did well today. Practice as much as you can, particularly the stances. Really work on those stances. Work in turning in the back toe. That's very important. Work on that. Separate that out and practice that. Okay, and then next week we'll continue. Next time we'll continue on. So I'll just go out by flowing through, and thank you very much. See you next time.